$0 saved for retirement. Age 35, $95,000 salary. Meet David. He makes good money, lives in a nice apartment, drives a decent car. And he just realized if he retired today, he'd have nothing. Not enough. Nothing. If you've ever thought, I'll start saving next year, this one's for you. David Martinez, 35 years old, Denver, senior software engineer making $95,000. He takes home $5,200 per month after taxes. Current 401k balance, $12,400. That's it, from 3 years of minimal contributions. No IRA, no brokerage account, no investment property. Savings account, $6,800. He's 35. Retirement age is 65. That's 30 years to build a retirement fund from basically zero. Here's the number that matters. To retire comfortably at 65, he needs about $1.8 million saved. Here's where that $5,200 goes. Rent, $1,800. Car payment, $520. Car insurance, $180. Student loans, $340. Subscriptions and services, $280. Dining out and entertainment, $650. Groceries, $400. Gas and utilities, $350. Total spending, $5,100 per month. Take home, $5,200. He has $100 left over every month. But here's what he's been telling himself. I'm still young. I'll ramp up retirement savings when I make more money, when I get the next promotion, when things settle down. He's been saying that since he was 28. This isn't about being irresponsible. David has a good job. He's not drowning in debt, but he's been operating like someone in their 20s, and now he's 35. The math of retirement savings is brutal when you start late. Every year you delay costs you exponentially more than the year before. At 25, saving $500 per month gets you to $1.4 million by 65. At 35, saving $500 per month gets you to $680,000. Same money, half the result. If you're thinking, wait, am I behind on this? I created a free 3-minute assessment. Link in the description. Now, the 3 mistakes that got David here.
David made 3 decisions that felt fine in the moment, but each one created a trap. Let's go through them. Trap 1. The lifestyle creep. David started his career at 25 making $52,000, lived with roommates, drove an old Honda, was careful with money. At 28, promotion to $68,000, got his own apartment. At 30, $78,000, upgraded his car. At 32, $88,000, started traveling more. At 35, $95,000, better apartment, nicer restaurants, premium subscriptions. Every time his income went up, his lifestyle went up to match it. Here's the trap. At $52,000, he was contributing 6% to his 401k because his employer matched it. That was $260 per month. At $95,000, he's contributing 6%. Now that's $475 per month. His income almost doubled. His savings rate stayed the same. That's the trap. When you're 25, 6% might be enough. When you're 35, starting from near zero, 6% is nowhere close to enough. The recommendation at 35 with no savings, 20 to 25% of gross income. For David, that's $1,600 to $2,000 per month. He's contributing $475. This is the lifestyle creep trap. Your income grows, but instead of increasing your savings rate, you increase your lifestyle. Trap 2, the I'll start next year cycle. At 28, David thought, just got promoted, let me stabilize at this new income level, then I'll increase my 401k contribution next year. At 29, I'm planning a big trip this year. I'll ramp up savings after that. At 30, I need a more reliable car. Once that's handled, I'll focus on retirement. At 31, I'm dating someone seriously. We might move in together. Let me see how that affects my budget first. At 32 through 34, I'm doing okay. I'm still young. I've got time. At 35, oh no, 7 years of next year. Here's what that cost him. If he'd increased his contribution to 15% at age 28, putting in $850 per month and maintained that, he'd have $95,000 today. Instead, he has $12,400. That's not a small difference. That's $82,600 missing. And it's not just the contributions he didn't make, it's the compound growth he lost on those contributions. This is the next year trap. Every year you wait costs you exponentially more than just that year's contributions. Trap 3. The invisible future. When you're 25, retirement at 65 is 40 years away. It's abstract, distant, not real. When you're 35, retirement is still 30 years away, still feels far off. Here's the problem. David can't viscerally feel what 65-year-old David will experience. He sees his current life, his current apartment, his friends going out to dinner tonight. He doesn't see himself at 72 choosing between medication and groceries. He doesn't feel what it's like to be 70 and running out of money. He doesn't see 65-year-old David trying to live on $1,800 per month from Social Security alone. The brain is terrible at valuing distant outcomes, so David chose the better apartment, the nicer car, the weekend trips, because those were real and now. Meanwhile, future David, the one who needs that $1.8 million, was invisible. At 35, David is starting to see future David more clearly. He's noticing his parents aging. He's seeing older colleagues talk about retirement planning. The future is becoming visible. But 7 years late. This is the invisible future trap. The person who needs the money most, your future self, has no voice in your current financial decisions. I've analyzed dozens of these situations. Here's the pattern. People in their 20s think, I have time, I'll start saving seriously in my 30s. People in their 30s think, I'm building my career and my life, I'll ramp up savings in my 40s. People in their 40s think, I'm behind, but I still have 20 years, I can catch up. People in their 50s panic. The through line, everyone assumes they'll have more money and more discipline in the future than they do now. But lifestyle inflation and present bias don't go away, they compound. David isn't alone. 40% of Americans in their 30s have less than $20,000 saved for retirement. The system assumes you'll start saving at 25 and never stop. Most people don't operate that way. What can someone in David's situation actually do? I'm not giving you a prescription. I'm showing you patterns. Pattern number 1, the catch-up contribution strategy. David needs to save aggressively. At 35, with basically $0, the math is harsh. To hit $1.8 million by 65 with 8% average returns, he needs to save about $1,850 per month. That's 23% of his gross income. Right now, he's saving $475. He needs to find $1,375 more per month. The pattern, over 3 years, ramp from 5% to 25% savings rate. Start with 401k increase to 15%, cut $700 in lifestyle spending. Add Roth IRA contributions, cut another $500 in spending. Push toward 25% total savings rate. Yes, this means lifestyle goes backwards. The nicer apartment becomes a good apartment. Dining out goes from 4 times per week to 2 times. The new car gets driven longer. This feels like sacrifice. It is sacrifice, but it's temporary sacrifice to avoid permanent poverty at 70. Pattern number 2, income maximization mode. At $95,000, David's income is good, but good isn't enough when you're behind. People who catch up from late starts often focus obsessively on income growth. Aggressive job hopping, 95K to 120K to 145K over 3 to 4 years. Side income, consulting, freelance projects, $1,000 to $2,000 per month. Skill stacking, learning high-value skills that command premium pay. Geographic arbitrage, remote work from a lower cost of living area. The goal, get to $130,000 to $150,000 income within 3 to 5 years. At $150K, saving 25%, $3,125 per month, becomes achievable without lifestyle devastation. Every $10,000 in additional income directed entirely to retirement changes the trajectory dramatically. Pattern number 3, the lifestyle reset. Some people do something radical. They hit reset. They move to a cheaper apartment and bank the $400 a month difference. They sell the $35,000 car, buy a $15,000 car, and invest the $20,000 freed up. They cancel subscriptions, stop financing lifestyle, and live like they make $65,000 while earning $95,000. The $30,000 difference goes entirely to retirement. This is the hardest pattern emotionally. It feels like moving backwards. Your friends won't understand. But mathematically, if David lives like he makes $65,000 and banks the $30,000, $2,500 per month, he hits $1.2 million by 65. Not the full $1.8 million, but respectable. And here's the key. After 5 to 7 years of aggressive saving, the compound growth takes over. At some point, the money works harder than he does. The reality of catching up, there's no way to sugarcoat this. David lost 10 years of compound growth. Those years are gone. He can't get back to where he'd be if he'd started at 25. That's not possible. But he can still retire comfortably. It just requires 5 to 7 years of aggressive saving that his 20-something self didn't have to do. The alternative is working until 70 or living on $2,000 a month in retirement. David gets to choose his hard. Hard now or harder later. Here's what you need to understand. David didn't waste money on stupid things. He didn't blow it all at casinos. He just lived a normal, comfortable life. And that's the problem. Normal in America means under-saving for retirement. The system is designed for people who start at 25 and save consistently for 40 years. Most people don't do that. David's mistake was assuming he'd always have time, and then looking up at 35 and realizing he doesn't. Unlike debt traps that can take 20 years to escape, time traps are fixable in 5 to 7 years of discipline. It's painful, but shorter. He's 35. If he commits now, he can be financially stable by 42 and coasting by 45. That's still most of his life ahead of him. Next week, a 42-year-old married couple with $340,000 in combined income and somehow still living paycheck to paycheck. The math on that one is wild. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment. Which trap hit hardest? 1. Lifestyle creep. 2. I'll start next year cycle. 3. Invisible future. Just the number. Assessment link in the description. 3 minutes. Shows you which trap you're in. This is Financial Reality Check. See you next week.